everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Debby Campbell Goodtime Show. Today I have three great artists. They are known as the world's biggest tribute artists, and if you've ever been to Vegas to a Legends in Concert show, then I'm sure you may have seen them there, or may have seen them in Germany, England, wherever. But anyway, today we're going to bring to the show Gary Moore, Steve McCoy, and Graham Patrick Doyle. Hi, Gary.
Hi.
Hi, Steve. Graham,
Hello.
you're sideways. You're sideways again, Graham.
And so are you, Debbie.
Can you turn it?
Is this good?
Can you turn it?
Okay, so yes, because I turned it for Greg. There we go. Is that any better?
Well, you're still elongated.
All right, you're elongated.
You
That's
can't
what
make
told.
it wide.
He's always wanted to be elongated.
Now, this is a family show, boys, so let's make sure.
Oh, we're
so
in trouble.
We don't want any censorship on YouTube or TV shows if we get this going here. But anyway, so Graham, we're going to leave you like that. If that, oh, there you go. Yay. Okay.
Better. Okay, great.
All right.
He's big again.
So who do I start with? Let's see. I'm going to start with Gary, because Gary, I've never met you before.
No.
Right.
Right.
Now, you were born in Hawaii.
No, I'm a military brat. I was born in Japan.
Oh, because I read you were born in Hawaii.
Yeah, some people, you know how they miswrite stuff, you know.
Okay. All right. So
Yep.
you were born in Japan, and your dad was in the.
My dad was in the Army,
Okay.
you know, so I'm going to set the record straight. I was, you know, born in a poor white family, and lived in Hollywood.
You sure you want to do this, Debbie?
I know, right?
I can get him back on track. Okay, so were you in the Army also?
Yes, I was in the Army also before I got in show business.
Okay, how many years were you in the Army?
I was in 10 years total.
Okay, and so did you travel all throughout? You were a military brat, so how many?
Military brat, lived in New York, Georgia. Before my dad retired, I lived in Germany for a couple of years. And my dad retired, and I finished up high school here in Hawaii.
Okay, and so now you're living in Hawaii.
I live in Hawaii, married a Hawaii girl, never left.
Nice, very nice. Also, what were you doing at the time before you started becoming a tribute artist?
Well, I was in the Army until 88, got out in
Right.
88 and didn't have any idea what I wanted to do, and got
Right.
involved. Just through connections, a lady offered me a job to work and be like a cast manager for a tribute show here in Hawaii. The guys was going to come here from Vegas.
Right.
And that's how I met Tony Roy and George Trillinger and a lot of the guys from Legends in Concert at that time in '89.
So that was the Legends in Concert show in Hawaii. Is that the one that Paul Revere was half owner of?
No, Paul and John Stewart came later. This show was brought by this lady, and Tony Roy left Legends. Some of the guys were just here for a little bit away from Legends, and we did the military bases.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I know Tony. I've met Tony. I've met him in Branson.
Yeah. He's speaking of it, he's in bad shape right now.
Oh, I heard that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. So Tony's came to you and said you should do Little Richard.
Hey man, you look like Little Richard. I said, shut up! I don't look like Little Richard. You know, and I just got out of the Army and no hair, and you know, so it was and something I didn't plan on doing and didn't want to do until he had to do something with the Jerry Lewis muscular dystrophy telethon.
Right.
And
well, you weren't even listening to that type of music at that time, were you?
No, really wasn't. Yeah, I'm a Beatles fan, Rolling Stones, you know, kind of guy.
Right.
And I mean, I knew the stuff, but I wasn't a big fan of the 50s stuff.
Right.
So had to learn it, you know, and did it for Jerry's Kids, and it took off from there. A producer saw us, started working in a diner on the weekends for like $25 or $50 it was, and And then, you know, once I got bored of doing it, and the money kept coming up. So, and then I produced. Then the next thing I know, I was in Aruba for 6 months with Tony.
Wow! Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
Now
that was great. That was fun. That was.
Where did Graham go?
Graham is. Oh,
he's missing. We've lost him.
I think Steve McCoy did something to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They always have issues, those two.
All right, let's go to Steve real quick. Steve, where were you born?
In New Jersey, South Jersey.
Okay. So now you were a landscaper.
Yes, yeah. I was a landscaper for I probably about 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I had a little company back home, and that's what I did.
Right, but I guess you used to spend a lot of time entertaining your friends.
I always wanted to be in entertainment. I always wanted to, but I didn't think I could sing.
Okay.
So I never really pursued it.
Right.
They had a Tom Jones lookalike contest.
And where was this at?
Down in Atlantic City.
Okay.
Probably about an hour away from my house. Atlantic City is about an hour away. So they had a Tom Jones lookalike contest. A local radio station had this Tom Jones lookalike contest. And Tom Jones was going to be the judge. $2,000 first prize and a travel pass on TWA.
Oh, wow.
To anywhere in the United States.
Right.
And I went down because all my friends said, you look like Tom Jones. You'll do great. So I went down there. And when I got there, they said, what song are you going to sing? And I went, what? Sing, And so they said, yeah, that's what everybody's going to sing a song. So I did. I picked It's Not Unusual and danced, and the people went nuts, and I won first prize.
That's amazing. Now, Tom Jones, you said, was a judge?
He was the judge.
So
yeah.
Did you meet him that night for the first time?
It wasn't the first time. I met him when I was younger.
Okay.
And I had met him before, but to know, of no substance.
Right.
But it was after that. Then it was kind of funny because Jon Stewart was in Atlantic City at the time talking about Tony Roy. Tony Roy was there.
Wow.
And here's the funny thing. I went to see that show. Johnny asked me, he saw me on the evening news that night. Young guy wins a talent contest.
Right.
Tom Jones judge. Saw me on the news that night. And he was looking for Tom Jones. He was looking for a guy to do Tom Jones.
Wow.
He had asked me to come down to Atlantic City and see his show. And I said, people get paid to do this? He said, yo, you got to come see the show. I went and saw the show. Guess who I met? I'm a major Elvis fan. I loved Elvis. And I got to see Tony Roy, and I just flipped out. I just thought he was great. The show was incredible. He had, at the time, Donnie Ray Evans, who did Nat King Cole, opened the show. And it with his back to the audience, and all you did was hear the voice. And when he turned around, man, I got chills. It just blew me away. But the show was great. I mean, it was awesome. After the show, I went back and I met Tony Roy. And guess who was there?
The real Elvis?
No, this other guy that you have on the interview, this Little Richard guy.
Oh, Little Gary. That's funny. So that's the first time you guys met.
Yeah.
That's the first time we met. We didn't know. He came popping out of the shower. He was in the shower hiding, and he keep jumping out. Like, oh my God, what did I? And then I got Tony Roy back here. Bubba. This is. And then I got Gary Moore jumping out of the shower. So it blew me away.
So that pretty much started your career as a Tom Jones tribute artist?
Johnny, you know, I did the audition. I couldn't believe what he put me through. He tried to make me sing Delilah. I never sang, so no, you got to sing higher, and all this stuff. You know how Johnny is,
right?
And, you know, always a show, spectacle, but a brilliant producer.
Yes, yeah.
He's found some great talent, and he's cultivated a lot of talent. I didn't hear from him for about a month, and then he called me up and asked me to come out to Vegas.
Oh wow!
And I went out and did the audition that night. He put me in the show that night.
Wow,
and
that's awesome. I mean, Vegas. I mean, but then been in Atlantic City and Vegas and Atlantic City. I mean, you know, the lights are a lot, you know, bigger and brighter in Vegas, of course, I think, but oh
yeah. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. It was like a dream come true.
Right.
And I couldn't believe that there were other people that did this. I only did it in my house. I would practice in the mirror, you know?
Right.
So
right. And then you perfected the voice and everything. Oh my gosh, we have Graham back. Yay.
Sorry, folks. First time on Zoom. First time for everything, right?
Well, that's great because it's your turn. How perfect is that?
Oh, fantastic.
Wait. Graham missed the whole story about Steve.
He did.
I skipped the boring stuff.
He's going to have to watch the interview. He'll just have to watch the interview. So, Graham, Graham, you were born in Ireland.
Yes.
Okay, so what age did you start singing?
Oh, I don't know, around 16 or so.
Yeah.
I mean, I was singing in the bedroom as a kid, you know. But
okay. And what were you listening to?
Nothing too. Well, I was strictly an Elvis fan, or you know,
okay,
I would listen to some Roy
always.
Orbison. So I just, for some reason, I had that. I can remember him as a 2-year-old. My first impressions.
Wow.
I remember seeing him in 1970. It must have been 1973 for me. It was Elvis on tour, and he had this blue jumpsuit and a cape. And this is what I remember. I remember sitting in my living room and seeing this on the TV for the first time.
Right. So
just something must have stuck, you know.
Right. So how old were you when you decided maybe this is an avenue that you would pursue?
Well, I wanted to sing. My father was a singer, and he would play in the cabaret lounges in Ireland. So I was inspired by him, and so I knew I wanted to sing.
Right.
But I think, of course, the Elvis Elvis thing took it a whole different way, you know. So I was 16. We left Ireland when I was 16 and moved to Canada,
okay.
And got some regular jobs, but I wanted to pursue singing, and I didn't know that this was an art form. This the tribute artists,
right.
You know, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And when I came across that, I just put the two together. Obviously, it was like, well, you know, want to sing, huge Elvis fan, and just put those two things together, and found out there was a community and there was a whole artistry behind it.
Up in Canada?
This was in Canada,
right.
In Toronto.
Right. So is that where you started doing your impersonation?
So I
technical difficulty.
Yeah, I sat there, and oddly enough, then So I started out there in Canada, and pretty soon after, I had auditions with Legends in Concert in Las Vegas, and
nice.
That's
wow. I mean, that's where that was with Johnny, obviously.
Yeah, with Jon Stewart, and so that was all. That was a fantastic experience. You know, I got the opportunity to see Steve and Gary on stage. You know, to go down and watch those guys perform and see this wonderful production in Las Vegas, and I was just blown away. I didn't know that this whole thing existed. You know, this whole other world. And
now, did somebody see you in Canada? Did somebody see you in Canada and suggest that maybe you go down that avenue, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I sort of saw it in myself. It was something that because I would have my hair like crew cut or very, very short, and I would I would go. There was this one fella I went to audition for, and it was to drive a truck around Canada and sing and do Elvis. And thank God I didn't get the job, right? And you know, it was just to work for him. Basically, he had all the equipment. You know, just go out and do these. So I rock up and I basically bald. You know, my hair's so short. And he's just looking at me, going, "What on earth? You know, like, you're going to do what?" So I guess you had to see it. You know, like.
Right.
So, but like, I was so green, right? I had no idea. You know, hi there, I'd like a job. I'm going to be Elvis for you. You know, okay. And where's your costumes? And you know, yeah. Why do you look like that? But yeah, it was. But
right,
yeah, so get down to Vegas then, and that was a whole other thing. That was a new animal.
A whole new animal. Well, okay, let's go back to Gary for a minute. Gary, how long would you say it took you to perfect the Little Richard persona to be a tribute artist for Little Richard?
Took me years.
Years?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Even
but
when
yet you were
when I
still
started,
performing. Yeah.
Yeah, because every day is always a different day, and it turns into years to me. I mean, I can look back at the very beginning when I first started.
Right.
And I sucked.
We all do. Yeah.
You know, and I think, I don't know how long I would say. I
how
think.
Can you say that when you've been doing it for like 30 years? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think I'm good now.
Well, you've got to carry. Yeah, you've got to carry on because, you know, it's very sad that he's passed away recently.
Yeah, he just recently passed away. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you've got to keep that memory, you know, keep him out there in the world.
Sure, yeah. As long as it's fun, you know, as long as we have a good time with it. And it's, you know, I think I talked to Steve just recently about how things have changed a lot. And it's gonna be a rough road to get back and do what we do, and how the people are gonna be, and with all this Corona thing. And I told Steve we're doing the show next month, and we're happy to do it. We're excited. But are the people going to come out? Our fan base are older folks, high risk.
Right.
What's that going to be like? And the venues, you only can have so many people now.
Right.
And you know, so are they going to come out?
Yeah, I mean, the whole world. I mean, all the entertainment world is just pretty much what's going to happen. Right. Yeah. So, did you ever meet Little Richard?
Met Little Richard a few times. The last time we did a TV show together, and that was probably the best time. I think my highlight of my career, to sit and talk to him, perform with him on stage in LA.
Right. Was that the next best thing? Is that TV show? Right.
TV show, yeah.
Right. How long does it take you to get into the Little Richard hair, makeup?
Oh my gosh! It just takes me like 2-3 minutes, baby.
That's it. And you don't even think you look like him, and it just takes 2 minutes. Look at that.
A good hour, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, you perform all the hits, I'm sure. Yeah.
I do all the songs. You know, I do. It's not unusual. Heartbreak.
It's not unusual.
I do them all. I'm bad.
Well, you know what I read that I found fascinating. Pat Boone had a hit with Tutti Frutti before Little Richard.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Pat Boone had the hits. Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea. I mean, I'm like, Pat Boone sang Tutti Frutti.
I got a gal, her name's Sue. She knows just what to do. I got a gal named Sue. She knows just what to do. I've been to the east, I've been to the west. She's the gal that I love best. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, ooh Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. I got a gal.
Yeah, you should listen to it.
I'm going to. I know.
Do you have it there? Put it on.
I don't, but we'll get it and we'll put it on. That's okay. We'll put it on. We'll edit it in. So, what's your favorite imitation that you do of Little Richard?
My favorite imitation?
Yeah.
You're talking about singing a song or just
No.
acting like them?
Yeah.
Just to say, shut up! That's probably everybody wants that. I mean, I don't get to do that. It gets to the point where it's like the Elvis thing of thank you very much. Everybody's like, thank you very much. It's the same thing. You didn't say shut up in the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's timing and stuff. After a while, you just go, I can't do. I didn't feel like doing it. I'm doing a church gig, and I just didn't feel like I should,
right.
say shut up to these people.
Right.
Anyway, so it's just timing, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, Mr. McCoy. So, have you ever met Tom Jones?
Yes, yeah, a few times.
Yeah.
Yes, he's what an incredible person. I'm sure you met him, Debbie.
I've met him a couple of times. Dad did a radio. I think we were in England. The last trip that we were over in Europe on tour, Tom and Dad had a radio interview together. So I went. Of course, I went with Dad.
Yeah.
When was that, Deb? How old were you?
Well, that was just let's see. Dad passed away 3 years ago, and that was 5. So it's probably 10 years, maybe.
Oh, okay.
When we were back over there that I saw Tom. But I had seen him, I think I met him one other time. But of course, Dad had him on his show and all that. But anyway. So what was that like for you meeting him for the first time?
They had come over to see my show. His people come over.
Mm-hmm.
Over at Legends at the Imperial Palace.
Right.
And we were all performing there. I couldn't believe that they wanted to meet me after the show. So I went out and met with everybody, and they asked me to come over and see his show. And I went, oh.
Where was he playing at?
Bally's at the time.
Okay.
The old MGM. And I went over there. I was a nervous wreck. And he was, Debbie, he was as down to earth. Your dad was very down to earth.
I think that genre of people back then, they're all yeah.
I think those people just had there's a different way about them. I mean, I got to say this about the three of us, Gary and Graham and myself. We love what we do. Right. We love it. There's no ego involved. We just love what we do. We love the characters, and we just love what we do. And that reads to the audience. That's what, I had asked Tom Jones, if he could give me any advice. The only advice that he ever gave me is he told me, don't ever let anyone tell you no. Don't ever accept no.
Right.
And how to enjoy a good cigar and some fine wine.
I heard that he kind of hated you. He said, this guy does me better than me. He's the best I've ever seen. I hate him. He's younger and he's got more hair.
I had gone with my with Summer, my wife at the time.
Right.
We had gone to see the show. We were sitting there. We were his guests, and we're sitting there. And right in the middle of the show, he says, "We have a celebrity in the house." And I'm looking around, trying to see who. I didn't see anybody here tonight. Who? He said, "Steve McCoy." Well, my jaw dropped, and he asked, and he wanted me to come up to the stage. And I'm going, "Oh, this son of a bitch." And what's he going to do? So I'm walking up there, and he says, that I work over the Imperial Palace. He says he does me better than me. And I'm going, oh my God, what a buildup this is going to be. I said, I hope he doesn't ask me to sing. God, I hope he doesn't. And he says, and I hate him. And I went, oh no. He says he's younger than me and he's got more hair. So.
Did you sing?
No. He just brought me up to the front with everybody. And I just loved it. It was great. What a sweetheart.
I wish he would have made you sing. That would have been
I
bet the audience would have loved it. I mean,
I would have went nuts. That would have been a dream come true. I'm sure for all three of us, it would be a dream to.
Right.
I've been backstage with Gary to see Tom, and I've been backstage with Graham to see Tom.
Oh, that's amazing. That's very
So,
cool.
yeah.
I mean, just
Yeah.
even though, I mean, it's just amazing to meet those people, you know.
All on each with each of us, it was all on a personal level. It wasn't like, hey, hi, how are you, and goodbye.
Right.
Right, guys?
Yeah.
It gave you
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. Oh, he was wonderful. He was telling stories
Oh,
and
that's great.
drinking champagne, hanging out. You know?
Now, Graham, did you ever meet Elvis?
No, of course not. No. I was, what was I, 6 years old when
You were a
he
wee
passed?
lad. A wee lad.
Just a wee lad. And in Ireland, so there was a big ocean between us as well.
Right. That's true.
He probably wanted it that way, you know. But I get to work with some of his guys, you know, like the Stamps Quartet, the gospel group.
Yeah.
I get to sing with them, and I guess that's sort of as close as I'll ever get, is to hearing that sound and being a part of that sound. So
Right. And all the stories that they have, I'm sure.
yes, and they're all down to earth. Like you said, this whole generation, it's a completely different. The celebrity today is a different thing, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
I know.
they're just gentlemen, just class acts. All of these people, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be in their company and to hear about the good old times and and the artistry. You know,
I doubt there'll ever be a Glen Campbell tribute artist. I can't see it. I mean,
But there really should be.
Yeah.
I know, but I just don't.
well, I mean, who's gonna play guitar like that and sing like that?
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a tough act to do. You know.
Okay, so I want to know when you three first worked together.
Oh, jeez.
I think Graham. I think we were in Vegas,
Yes, of course we were. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
At the Imperial Palace.
At the Imperial
Yes.
Palace.
Right. And Steve, you too? I mean, is that?
Yes. Yeah.
And you all three have worked together on the same show, obviously.
Yes.
Yes.
Together and after the show. After the show was a much better show to see.
So have you traveled together to different countries? All three of you together?
Yeah. Didn't we?
Well,
You guys have worked in
Germany,
Germany. I
Yeah.
think we've been in. I've worked with Gary in Germany. Have you guys been? Who went to Russia?
I did.
Yeah.
Did you ever any of you go to Russia? Gary, Graham?
No, I didn't know.
I was scared.
And where was that gig in the Middle East where they got
Beirut?
Beirut. Oh my God.
Oh my!
Is that
Beirut.
didn't they get kidnapped or something like that?
Well, I know you went to
Okay.
Beirut, right, Steve?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were held captive.
You were?
The U.S. Embassy had to come get us out. They
Well,
sent. They sent.
The
10
show was that bad?
It was really. It was a bad.
Are you being serious with me here, Steve?
Yeah, serious.
Yeah.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
So
It was-
did the whole show or just certain art?
No, the whole show was over there. The guy that took it, the guy that bought the show from Johnny
Right.
Stewart, he bought the show. He wanted to bring the show over to Beirut, but he put us in the Muslim section of town. He rented out a movie theater, and for he was going to do us. This is almost over the Christmas holiday, right before the Christmas holiday. He could have went 10 miles up the road, and we would have been in the Christian sector, but he wanted to do it in the Muslim section. And the first night we were there, the U.S. Embassy, the ambassador came to the show, and he met with all of us backstage, and he said, I've told you guys you shouldn't be here. This is dangerous. And but everybody's been so nice and blah blah blah. Anyway, we did the first night, and after that, two more nights, no one showed up. The first night, the place was pretty packed. The next 2 nights, no one showed up, and then all of a sudden we were stuck there, and we couldn't get out. And Johnny had to call he called the U.S. Embassy. This is a true story. This is not a lie. Johnny called the U.S. Embassy and said, "Hey, this guy has got our people held captive." And they told Johnny, "We told you not to come over here. We told you what was going to happen." And he says, "There's nothing we can do." And Johnny goes, "Well, wait a minute." So they devised a plan. This is the honest to God truth. I can't make this up. They devised a plan that the guy wanted Johnny to pay him back his $500,000 that he spent on the show to have everybody.
And this is the guy that's telling Johnny that you shouldn't have come over.
Yeah, and I swear to God, Debbie, he looked just like Gomez Adams. That's exactly how he looked, with a big cigar. That's exactly how he looked. Anyway, he wanted all of us. He said, "You will perform in my living room if I want you to. You will do what I tell you to do." And so the plan they devised was that he wanted Johnny to give him back the money. They told Johnny, "You tell him that you'll give the money to the U.S. Embassy or to the Lebanese or the Iranian embassy. You'll give it back to them, not to him." And he said, "No, I want the money myself." That's when the U.S. Embassy jumped in, because they said, "Now we've got him for kidnapping."
Right.
We had 23 people.
So how long were you in jail?
No, we weren't in jail. He had a hotel that he put us in. He owned a hotel. Right. We were captive in his hotel.
So did he have it like surrounded with?
Had it surrounded with guards. You weren't allowed to go outside. Wow. Shut off our phones. We couldn't call home, and
could you
our
get
credit
food?
cards. Yes, he fed us. He fed us. Yeah, we just weren't allowed to leave the hotel.
Right.
And he cut off our credit cards. Our credit cards wouldn't work. Nothing. We couldn't do anything. Wow. So we snuck out. We devised a plan that we snuck out of the hotel. When we got outside, I went downstairs to joke with the guards, because we would talk. I'd go down in the morning and have breakfast and sit and have coffee. And I would joke with the guards while one of the guys snuck out. And when he snuck out, all of a sudden the walkie-talkies went off, or their radios went off, but we got to the U.S. Embassy, and that's when they devised the plan to come get us.
Right.
And they came and got us on a Saturday at 12 o'clock. We had to all be in the lobby ready to go. And they sent 10 Chevy Suburban SUVs to come pick us up. And we got there. We went and stayed overnight at the embassy where those Marines were blown up, if you remember that.
Oh my gosh.
We stayed overnight there, and then we got on a plane the next day. It was an unbelievable event. Unbelievable. True story.
That's probably your only time that you've ever been, slept at a U.S. embassy.
Yeah, I had to sleep at the U.S. Embassy, which was cool. The whole night was cool. We had a great time and great stories from them. I was held captive. We were held captive in Russia. We had to leave. We had to leave Russia in the middle of the night.
Now you guys are laughing. Is this true? Is he joshing me?
Yes. Yeah.
No, I swear to God, you just can't believe that that's real. I mean, that's a true story.
How can I check this out, guys?
Oh, they're not lying. They'll tell you.
Yeah. You know what? John Stewart did that on purpose. He was trying to get rid of these guys. They were holding back the Legends of Conference.
Yeah. I've got a great gig for you, buddy.
I bet you guys have some amazing stories between you three.
I was going to say that Graham and I were held captive one night.
Oh, by what's her name?
And I had to come and rescue them, Deb.
I want to know, when's the last time you three performed together?
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
They don't invite me anymore.
Do we want to visit that story?
No, I think the last time I saw Gary is going to be, oh, Gary, what are we? Because time flies in this business, you know. So
well, we worked together. I worked with Graham a couple years ago in Berlin.
Yeah.
Okay.
All three
But
of us.
was it with the Legend Show?
No.
Okay. All right.
That was with Bernhard Kurtz, Stars in Concert.
Okay. And that was that. Is that at his hotel? Is that his hotel over there? That.
It's not his. No.
Okay.
It's owned by Mr. Streletsky. You know.
Okay.
It is a private hotel.
Okay. That's where the show is, obviously.
Yeah, I think he's been there 22 years now or something.
Wow.
And they still have that show there? Yeah?
Yeah, I think, Steve, did you kick that off over there?
No, I didn't kick it off, but I went over like the second run.
Yeah.
Because I was working at the IP at the time, and when they first went over.
Yeah, that was the same with me. I was at the IP, and I met Bernhardt, and I just got to Vegas, so I was enjoying my time there. And
have you been working, Graham? Have you been working?
Well, not with this virus thing, but yeah, I'm doing an Elvis Das musical. We tour Europe at the moment.
Are you touring right now, or you're not doing anything either?
I'm going back to I'm going back to Berlin August 12th.
Okay,
so
that'll be your first time.
I'm hoping that the show starts at this point. You know, like everything's changing right now still, so you know, everything's in the air. But I'm going to go, and I'm going to see what happens. That's our plan. Our plan is to open on the 12th, to get back to. We'll do a month run in Berlin. We shifted our tour from this year to next year already, so we kick it off again next February. You're
selling huge. I mean, I see some of those videos, Graham, and I mean, how many people the biggest that you've played? I mean, huge.
Well, we did 2 shows in Holland. They were like 10,000 a piece. It was an 8 o'clock show, 10,000, and.
What's that?
I know, isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When you heard the passing of Little Richard, what went through your head, Gary?
I was shocked. I knew he was sick, and I knew he had cancer and stuff, but I thought he was, you know, I was hoping that he would hang around for a while longer, you know, I mean, another year after all this pandemic thing, because it just seemed like everybody couldn't see the loved ones and funeral arrangements and all that kind of stuff. So I was hoping and praying that he would, you know, stick around another year or two or something, but it's unfortunate. And I didn't get the opportunity to go at least and, you know, be a part of the funeral maybe.
Well, there probably wasn't a big one.
It was
at
just
that point, because were things still closed? They did have one?
They did have one, yeah.
Okay.
And it was just band members, family. And he was buried in Alabama at by the school that he went to. He got his, I guess, his degree from the church there. So he was buried there instead of in Georgia.
Well, good. At least he was able to have somewhat of a funeral, because all of, you know, with the world and what's going on, I mean, there's been so many people that have died and the loved ones weren't being able to bury them, and not even being able to go to the hospital to see them.
Right.
And yeah. So Steve, what do you got lined up? I heard that you produce shows.
I do everything. Right now I've got about 10 contracts that are on hold right now. Gary and I, next month, the beginning of the month, the 11th, we are supposed to do a show here in Vegas at the Italian American Club. It's a great place.
Okay, now that's not where Pia Zadora performs.
You know what? She has performed there. Yeah.
Does she do there? I think she was doing like an every Friday night thing there, because I'm really good friends with Annie, and she's a very good friend of Pia, and they've asked me to come there when I've come to Vegas, but I just never made it there yet.
I think she might be at the Tuscany.
Okay,
because there's
there's a couple of Italian restaurants, I'm sure, in Vegas, and I just don't remember the name of the one that.
This place is.
You know what? Now that you said that, I think Bobby will be.
I have to laugh. If you only knew, with Patty Wack or Patrick, excuse me, Mr. Patrick, if you only knew the antics that have gone on with the 4 of us.
I'm sure. I can only imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's already doing it right now. You can't see what he's doing to me. You can't see it.
Who,
He's
Patrick?
sending me. Yes, he's sending me message. He's already. Oh my God.
Now I remember when you said the Italian American Club. I remember that now. Why it stuck in my head, because Bobby Wilson. Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby was
He's
I saw
mentioned that
a show. I saw a show there.
Yeah, he's mentioned that to me, so that's probably where I remember hearing.
It's really, Debbie. It's really an intimate, like almost probably about 300 seats,
Mm-hmm.
and
I like
it's
intimate.
really intimate. It's an old atmosphere, the old Vegas atmosphere,
Right? Which
Got
is
great
awesome.
food.
Yeah.
So Gary and I are going to do a show together.
Okay, so one of you will open, and the other one, or you're not open or closed, but just one will do his, and you'll do yours, and
Yeah.
and then you're going to do something together.
And then we'll do about a half hour together. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. We've already he came to one of my shows, surprised me. And we got together and we did what Tom Jones and Little Richard did on the Tom Jones This Is Tom Jones show.
Oh, okay, that's what I was going to ask.
So we recreated that. It was a lot of fun. I mean,
I bet. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. Yeah. And then get old Elvis in there and So, Graham, you probably won't ever come back to the States and perform anymore, you think?
Well, I never say never, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to, you know.
Right.
Just at the moment, we're thankfully busy, you know.
Oh, I mean, when I look at your schedule, I'm like, he never quits. I mean, and the bigger the audience, you know, especially when you go over to those other countries.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great to keep his memory alive like that too.
And he's huge everywhere, and he never even went over there to like your UK or any of that, you know. I mean, of course the army in Germany, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. There's a town over there, Bad Nauheim, where he served in the military.
Right.
And you go over there at a certain time in August, and the whole town is Elvis. You know, they have Elvis traffic lights. It's
for real.
It's really it's very unusual. All the storefronts are dedicated to Elvis, and posters and all kinds of memorabilia, and all the fans come and they gather where he stayed. It's really.
Is that where so that's where he was stationed?
Yeah. So in 1957, 58.
I saw the
really
recreation.
strange.
You did a recreation kind of picture. Was it at the guard shack?
Yeah.
At the guard shack?
Yeah. The places that he visited. He was doing
Right.
a photo shoot, you know, and so I visited the same places, and it was really cool, you know. Still the same, you know. Yeah, very, very beautiful. Germany's a very beautiful country, you know.
Yes, it is. I've spent a lot, you know, Gary, I didn't mention this earlier. I was also an Air Force. I was a military brat. My stepdad was military, so I spent a lot of time all over, everywhere, you know.
Yeah. Every few years you pack up and move, and
That's it. I think his last tour was in Simbach, Germany. And they were over there for a long time. I think my mom and stepdad, like 12 years, because they just kept re-upping, you know, and staying over there. But yeah, I love Europe. I love Germany, the UK. I mean, I love all those. It's so much fun to. And I know you guys have probably. Now that you don't wear that in your Tom Jones act, obviously.
Oh, he ages real quick as you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Graham was talking about I lived in Bad Nauheim. My dad was stationed at Freiburg at the same place.
Oh, really? Fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So how long were you there, Gary?
I was there for 2.5 years with him.
Wow.
And how old were you at that time?
I was in elementary school.
Okay.
So I didn't know. But we heard about where Elvis stayed off base there in Bad Nauheim, and I had a little German girlfriend that worked in a bakery that I would go get some brötchen before I went.
I don't know, where's that area at? I don't know the geographics of Germany, but where is that probably located?
Outside of Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It's a beautiful place. And I wish if I was older, I would have known more and known a little bit more of the history with Elvis being there, because I missed the whole thing. I mean, being there for years, I'm like, wow, I didn't know until after.
Yeah. Well, gosh, you guys, I sure hope this pandemic goes away real soon, and the entertainment world can get back up and running, and you guys can do your shows and So now, Steve, you and Gary, are you still a part of the Legends at the Imperial, or no, it's not at the Imperial Palace anymore. What is it, Harrah's?
No, we're not.
No.
We don't work with them any longer.
Okay.
They've changed their format. They're using younger acts,
Okay.
and it's just.
But when you say younger acts, do you mean younger acts doing the same tributes that you guys do, or younger, different, whole genre different?
Yeah, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears,
Bruno
Lady
Mars.
Gaga,
Okay.
Bruno Mars. Yeah, they don't. I guess legends. The word legends has lost its meaning.
Well, I hate that because it hasn't lost its meaning to our generation. Absolutely,
Tell me about it.
I know. Well, if you obviously still find a lot of work. I mean,
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. We're all busy. I mean, take a listen to what Graham just told you. I mean, he's been,
I know it.
Yeah.
Well, you need to go to Wales, where Tom's from. I mean,
it was discussed. And with this pandemic, everything's been thrown off. So
right.
We did. I had a promoter that wanted to do that, and with everything that's going on, it's all.
I mean, you would do great just all throughout Europe, I would think.
Yeah, I would love it. I love Elvis and Tom Jones working together. I think that would be. I think people would really dig that, especially over in Europe, because Tom Jones and Elvis Presley they're just. Tom's really huge over in Europe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge. Well, that's what I was telling Graham. Graham, you need to take me over there and sing with you. I go, Glen Campbell and Elvis, they were great friends. He goes, I know, Deb, but was your dad big in Germany? And I said, well, gosh, I don't know, but David Hasselhoff was. I would think that they might like Dad's music.
Yeah. No, what I meant by that question, I was trying to explain to you, it wasn't for me. It was
I know exactly what you meant. Yeah.
For the producers, the producers they wonder.
But I'm like, gosh, if David Hasselhoff did great in Germany, I know Dad's music would do great in Germany, and that's what I meant by that.
Yeah.
Deb, did you ever meet Elvis?
I did, and I got it. He gave me his scarf. My stepmom Billy, that was my first stepmom. She took me to see Elvis. I want to say it was like my 18th birthday. And he was playing at the Hilton, and I got to go backstage. And you know how they say you idolize somebody your whole life, and so hopefully your expectations, but it was in the later years, and it wasn't my Love Me Tender Elvis that I used to watch on TV, but I still loved him, and I have all his movies, and I mean his music, his voice, oh my gosh, and him and Dad being such great friends. I mean, they were so similar. I mean, as personalities, grew up poor, poor families, and then made it big, and but they still remain the same. A lot of these artists, I think, it's not, when people think, God, they're snobs or whatever. I don't think it's so much the artists in that genre. I think it was the people in front of them that made it seem like the artist was that way. You know what I mean? They were just good old country boys, Elvis and Dad, and but anyway, I don't know how I got off on that, but
no. I saw your dad in the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw
him in Vegas?
No, this was back in Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
I saw him. He was performing in the Round Theater in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And he was wearing a jumpsuit at that point.
Right. He had a lot of those jumpsuits. I don't know. Yeah. I'd like to know where they all are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, no, that was really cool. Great show. I mean, I've seen him quite a few times. And then later on, I met him in Branson, and, just a sweetheart, just a great guy.
Yes, he was. He was a good guy. You know what? In fact, I think Tanya wore one of his jumpsuits in her new video with her new album.
Did she really?
Yeah, I think that is. I think I remember her telling me I wore your dad's jumpsuit in my video when she's on the horse. You have to look at it. It's from her new album that she just won her Grammys for, and in that video, she's got a jumpsuit on. So
that's cool.
So Gary, are you staying busy? Well, you're probably not staying busy but you have your own. Don't you have a band in Hawaii?
Got a band in Hawaii here that I sing with every now and then. Maybe like every 2 or 3 times a month.
What kind of music do y'all play?
Everything.
Okay.
Elvis, Tom Jones, Rod Stewart, Earth, Wind and Fire. So it's kind of, and you know, I'm always been that. Hey, you're the Little Richard guy, and you know, sing Tutti Frutti. And this is a band like in a bar, so it's
Right.
like tip jar and everything.
Right.
And I'll kick the tip jar. What is this shit right here? Oh, it's a tip jar. You want Tutti Frutti? It's gonna cost you booty.
You say, I get paid big bucks for singing this song, baby.
Right.
And I'll sing any other song you want. Yeah.
Right. So, but you know, it's a lot of fun to do it with the guys, and sometimes you'll find somebody will. Okay, here's $100, Tutti Frutti. Okay, go guys. You know. It allows me to keep the chops going, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Hey, Graham, you guys haven't seen. I saw Graham. I think doing his. It's not like what we do. The Elvis musical. It's a theatrical show, and he's never said anything. I think to everybody, but it's a theatrical show, right, Graham? He's got it. I mean, it's not just going up and singing a couple songs. You're acting. Yeah. Different time frames.
Oh, you've got dancers and stuff. It's like a production, right?
We have about 20 people on stage.
It's a dialogue. It's like a theater. It's it's not like what Legend in Concert what we've been doing.
Right.
Graham, if you have the opportunity to see Graham.
I haven't seen that show.
Thank you, Gary.
But I've seen Graham many times, and I've seen Steve many times. I don't think I saw you, Gary. I think when I saw Little Richard in Vegas, didn't Bobby do Little Richard too?
That was probably after Gary.
Well, are you sure? No. I remember. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I take it back. He was doing Stevie Wonder. Bobby was doing Stevie Wonder.
Oh yeah.
At the piano. That's why. That's what I remembered. So I don't know how I got Little Richard and Stevie Wonder mixed up, but.
Hey Debbie, I'm going to say this, and I mean this from the heart with these two guys. And I'm sorry to, take the time, but I want you to know these two guys individually, these two guys on and off stage are incredible. But when they perform their characters, there's nobody better.
I've never seen Gary, but I'm sure of it. I mean, Little Richard.
It's natural. It's natural. It's not put on. It just comes from the heart, and it's for real, and it's great. He sounds incredible. Same thing with Graham. Graham it's natural. I mean, he comes out there and the moves, everything is just
Well, I tell that to everybody because I'm Graham's biggest fan, and I tell that to anybody. Yeah. Oh my gosh, if you want to see somebody that does Elvis like nobody ever has done Elvis, go see Graham's videos.
Thank you.
I mean,
It's
I was
awesome.
his
It's
fan.
true.
You know? I mean, we've been friends for how many years now? A long while through Marianne. And
yeah.
Oh, see, rider. Oh, see what you have done. I said, see, rider. Oh, see what you have done. Girl, you made me love you. Love, now love's been gone. What I said, see, rider. I said, see.
And then, of course, I got to meet your buddy Patrick.
Sorry about that.
I always go in the office and harass him, you know. Yeah. And of course, Steve, I knew your ex-wife, Summer, who's a lovely woman. How old
She's an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah.
My son's 18.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
He's 18, just graduated high school, straight A student.
That's amazing.
He's going to go into UNLV. Hopefully, you know, we'll see how things work out. But he's got a scholarship going there. I mean, he's brilliant, and a lot of that hard work and everything else goes to his mother. Summer's been brilliant.
She's an amazing young woman. I mean, I've known her since she was very young. She wanted to be. In fact, she wanted to be a dancer in Dad's show at the Goodtime Theater. And Matthew Dickens, who was the choreographer and everything at that time, thought she was a little young, you know, but she came to Vegas and she paved her way, and she's been going strong ever since. So I'm very proud of her. Yeah, she's and phenomenal mom. I mean, she does a great job. I'm glad you guys have such a great relationship, because that's important for your child. And that's it. That's where we big difference in age. And I think I think that's one of the biggest. Well, come on, you don't look a day over 40. Thank you. You're being so polite. Good. Now, you know, Patrick Hughes, on the other hand, I just showed you. Can we go back? Because since Patrick is having trouble getting on, I finally got him. Well, when I asked you about your this is what Patrick looks like. This is what Patrick looks like. Oh, it is not. When I asked you about you producing shows, I saw my phone light up, and Patrick said, "Steve can't produce a fart." Oh, all right. So you're allowed to say that. Yes, he's very, very polite. And that's one thing about him being Irish. He's always classy as could be. One of the classiest gentlemen I've ever come in contact with. Graham, I've always wanted to ask you, is your hair really black? No. What color is it? Same color as Elvis's. Because his hair was like a light brown, and he dyed his hair. So when he dyed it, so right. For some reason, I thought maybe it was red. little Irish boy, you know. Yeah, no red hair. I love Ireland. I absolutely love Ireland. Well, we almost met. The next time you're in Europe, I know we keep saying it, but it's gonna get that moment, and we'll. Well, I know Americans started flying to Berlin, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got to get to Berlin overnight so I can go see Graham, you know. And then it's very senior. I mean, I'm in my 34th year, and I can't even touch some of those. You know, I can't touch Croatia. I can't touch Berlin. Because those senior mamas, you know, they got those flights all wrapped up pretty tight. Well, now nobody's going, you know, so. But yeah. I'm so happy to have all. What are you laughing at, Mr. McCoy? I'm laughing at Patrick. Oh, because he's messaging you. I am so happy for all of you to come on the show. It's such a pleasure to have all three of you on. I can't wait to come and, you know, what date are you and Gary doing that, Steve? The 11th. The 11th of July. Okay, yeah. If I'm not working, I think, and if it goes, we'll keep in touch to make sure if it happens because of all this virus stuff. I'd love to come see it. It's changing, isn't it crazy how we have no idea how you get this virus. And when you get it, they don't have any. They just tell you go home and quarantine yourself.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
It,
especially when people die from the flu every year, and the numbers are almost the same. You know. I guess maybe this is just a little bit more contagious than the flu. I guess. I'm just grasping.
Graham, how's it going over there?
Well, so I'm in the States at the moment. I'm in Michigan.
Oh, are you?
I'm up in Michigan.
He's in Michigan with his boy.
Yeah. So
my God, he's getting big. How old is he now?
He's 11 years of age now. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah, but I just heard. I heard today that Europe is talking about not having Americans.
I know. I read that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. You know.
So if you're not going back to Europe, you surely aren't going to Mexico.
Yeah. So if I can get to see it, my girlfriend's in quarantine, or in Germany. So we haven't seen each other in five months now. You know.
Oh my God.
So
she doesn't have the. She doesn't have the
virus. No.
No, she just can't travel. There's no.
Just can't travel. So
letting in and out. Yeah.
We're trying to meet in Mexico. That's our kind of middle point at the moment. So Mexico's open. She can get in. I can get in, and now it's just a matter of getting out.
Right.
You know.
Right. And of course, we know what Hawaii's like. I mean, if you go over there, you got to quarantine for 14 days.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And Germany also. So I think some of the countries still have to quarantine.
Right.
And so, because some of the guys, the Stamps Quartet out of Nashville and Georgia.
Oh, they are? Oh, they really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to have them for this show. And if they do get there, then it's 2 weeks quarantine, and 2 weeks when they come back. So and now what we're hearing on the news
doesn't look good.
Saying that they might close the borders and.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I sure hope 2021 is a heck of a lot better year for everybody than this has been, because it's really our whole nation is in uproar. But well, I'm so happy to have all of you on the show.
Thank you,
I love all
Debbie.
of you guys. You guys are the best. Greatest tribute artists in the world, no doubt.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Gary, so pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, Deb.
Heard so much great things about you. And Steve, you too. Good seeing you again. It's been a few years.
Yes, thank you.
Give my love to Summer and your son.
I will.
Graham, I love you. You know that.
I love you too, Debbie. Love you guys too.
And your mom. Tell your mom
Same
hi.
to you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Right.
Guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take
Love
care.
you, Graham. See you soon,
Love
Steve.
you guys too. Love you, Gary. Love you, Steve. Love you, Debbie.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you,
I'm glad
Greg.
I brought you three together.
Stay
That's
safe.
awesome.
God bless each and every one of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for today. Come back next week for another episode of the Debby Campbell Goodtime Show. Well, everybody, that's our show today. Stay tuned next week for another episode of the Debby Campbell Goodtime Show. What a fun show that was today. Thank you. Be kind and be safe and wear a mask.
Till the moon deserts the sky, till all the seas run dry, till then I'm yours. As the snow flies on a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born in the ghetto. And his mama cries, 'cause if there's one thing that she don't need, it's another hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto. Well, people, don't you understand? The child needs a helping hand. He'll grow to be an angry young man someday. Just take a look at you and me. Are we too blind to see? Do we simply turn our heads and look the other way? Well, the world turns, and a hungry little boy with a runny nose plays in the street as the cold wind blows in the ghetto. And his hunger burns